Good evening and welcome to another episode of Confidence Culture Conversations. And as always, my name is Elizabeth Olujimi, aka the Thriving Coach, and my amazing co-host.
Kirubai Kahoot, the personal transformation coach inside and out. And together, we are the confidence culture conversationists.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Welcome to episode 71?
Mm,
Episode
that's right.
71 of our conversations. It's interesting how you can have an idea, you can have a vision, you can have a dream, but it's only when you take consistent action that you start to see the longevity of this dream and how it can go so far. So yeah, we're excited.
We are excited, and it's taken it one step further. We are now airing it on television.
Sorry, Kiribai, what did you say? Just repeat that. Just for
Yeah.
the people in the back row that did not hear what you said.
We are airing it in television, and it's run through a television station from India that has a cable channel in Europe and also Middle East.
Wow.
You can watch all our programs on OTT, which is a platform that runs through India. So our friends in India, our friends in our friends in Middle East, and also in Europe can watch our conversations that our past conversations, which we are running from episode 1 right
Wow.
up to episode 70. Every day, every week, we change to different conversations. This is basically to empower women
Mm,
and also to help women understand that God has got them in his utmost to the highest regards.
absolutely.
Why do I say that? A lot of countries, especially India, I know this is going out of our topic, but I thought I would plug in, Elizabeth.
Plug in what you need to plug in.
Yeah, because I'm an Indian by birth, and in India, yes, things are changing, but in the south where my forefathers come from, women are subservient.
Mm,
And
mm.
women, most of the women that I've come across do not realize their dreams and their vision that God has got for them and the destiny and purpose.
Wow. Okay.
And Elizabeth and I, with our conversations, we want to motivate, stir up, and Elizabeth, as usual, will provoke women to rise up,
Mm,
raise their standards in society because their voice needs to be heard.
that's it. That's it. Mm.
So I told myself, you know what, we have such good content, Elizabeth, so we got to air this through this television station.
Awesome. Awesome. So for those that are just joining us and you missed the announcement, we are now showing in India, Europe, and there was somewhere else, Middle East.
Middle East, yeah.
Middle East. Ooh, exciting. Exciting. So we need to practice all the greetings now, Kiribai. So that we
Why not? Why not? Actually, that's a great idea, and it's run during the time zone where Europe and Middle East. I think between Middle East and Europe, it's about two hour difference. So it's run while India is asleep. So
okay.
to promote this episodes, it's run so people can understand and people can tune in when India is sleeping. But it is also going to be run during well, as you say, a lull time in India where we are plugged in. Doesn't matter. So we are excited because whatever said and done, Elizabeth, I think touching lives with information is very, very important.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? You never know who you're going to reach based on the different platforms.
Yeah.
You just never know. And if it is that we are reaching one woman in
Mm.
India, one woman in somewhere in Europe, one woman in somewhere in what was it?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, right?
I'm not Saudi Arabia. Sorry, the Middle East. You can because
In the Middle East.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So whether it's just one person that we touch in these places, and you just never know what will happen to them or how their lives will be affected or transformed. Because yes, you might be watching on social media, you might be watching on YouTube, but maybe somebody else doesn't have access to all those platforms, but they have access to the television channel that we're on. So
Mhm.
hey, we're here for it. We're here for it.
And the television station is called Cross TV.
Cross TV. So look out for Cross TV. Cross TV.
Yeah.
Love
So
it. Love
yes, we are at 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 our service in the sense we want to bless people with our conversations.
it. Mm.
Mm.
No, but you know what, Kirubai? This actually fits in so well with the topic of today.
Mm.
It does, because we're talking about seizing the opportunity.
Mhm.
So the opportunity has presented itself and we have jumped to it. We're seizing the opportunity. So yeah, and like Tunji says, congratulations.
Thank you, Kutunji. And you know a secret? We don't pay a cent to be on this TV channel.
Why are you giving away the secrets? Why are you giving away the secrets,
It's
Kirubai?
okay. That's favor.
No,
That's God's
no, no,
favor.
let's not give away the secrets. But you know what? I think it's also one of those things that they say that opportunity comes. Let me get this right. Opportunity comes when you're ready. So let me use the statement that is commonly used. The teacher will appear when you're ready, so to speak. And I think opportunity, like some people say, they use the lack of opportunity as a reason for not stepping out to do things. They say, oh, the opportunity has not yet come my way, so that's why I've not yet stepped out. But actually, if you start stepping out, you're going to start to see the opportunities.
Mhm.
Your eyes are going to be open to the opportunities. And how can someone present an opportunity to you if they don't know what you're about? So when you start stepping out, talking about what you're about and showing up and shining about what you're about, then the opportunities can very easily come. So it's so important for us to also understand who we are, what we do, what we offer, what value we bring, so
Mhm.
that when the opportunity comes, you can decide whether that opportunity is for you or it's not for you. Now I think I'm going into the conversation for today. So Kirubai, I'm gonna hand over to you so you can just like lead us into it.
Well, you're doing well. You're doing well, Elizabeth. Because I was about to ask you and even share this. A lot of people will say, "What what opportunity can my eyes see?"
Hmm.
Because opportunities are always presented in front of you. Many opportunities.
Hmm.
So how are you going to decipher which will suit you or which opportunity doesn't work for you? So this is where the thriving coach comes in.
That's me.
Don't you think so,
Right.
Elizabeth? This is where you'll be able to, what do you see? You say this famous quotation. You always say this. If nothing stops you, so what will you seize? Or is that the way? I know you say it nicely, Elizabeth. Please.
Which one? If nothing was standing in your way and you
Hmm.
knew you couldn't fail.
Hmm.
So opportunity or seizing opportunity is a very it's an interesting one, because like I say, a lot of people are crying out saying there's no opportunities coming their way or nobody's presenting opportunities their way. But I'm going to say this: if you're not seeing any opportunities around you, it's time to start your own opportunities, right? So it's kind of like, I'm waiting for a seat on the table. Well, Go and create your table. Don't sit around waiting for a seat on the table or waiting for a door to open. What doors are in front of you? Can you kick them open? Like, what is it that you need to do to get into those doors? Or you might be saying, I haven't got an opportunity coming my way. I'm looking for a job. Okay, that's great. Keep looking, but also start thinking about what are the things that you can do? What can you use your hands for? What are the skills that you have? And actually, I remember a few years ago when I finished university. So I have a degree in electrical engineering, for those that don't know. And I finished my course and I thought I should get a job in engineering. Of course, it makes sense. So I was looking, putting myself forward, and I went for, I think, one or two interviews which were not successful. I put it down to, it was the time where we had the credit crunch all coming into play, and there were a lot of people on the job market, people who had more experience than I did, because I didn't have no experience. So I wasn't successful. And I sat down and I told myself, okay, what skills do you have? What can you do? What problems can you solve? And I realized that actually one of the things I enjoyed doing and I had a lot of experience in was customer services. So I seized an opportunity and I decided to apply for a customer service job while I am waiting for an engineering job to come along. So I did not say I'm just waiting for an engineering job and that's all I can do. No, I looked at the other opportunities around me, and customer services, the door was wide open because immediately I applied, I got a job. I didn't have to wait long. I got a job. And once I was in that job, at least I was in a working environment and I was still applying for my engineering jobs until my eyes were opened to who I am, the sort of things I enjoy, and the path I wanted to take. And I started to carve my own path. And actually, that's when I made a decision. I'm not going to look for engineering jobs anymore. I'm going to stay within a customer focused environment. That was for me an opportunity to turn, to change my course.
Mm.
And some of us are stuck in a place where, stuck is the word. We're stuck in a place. We don't know whether to move forward, whether to move sideways, whether to move back. We're stuck there and we're wondering, what do I do? Open your eyes to the opportunities around you. What are you saying no to that? Maybe you need to give a second glance. I almost missed the opportunity to be made redundant. I almost missed it because I was like, I don't want to be made redundant. I was scared. Like, why am I in lockdown? Why am I giving up my job to then be looking for a job? But I saw it as an opportunity. And the perspective I shifted it to was, I'm getting paid to leave my job. And there's plenty of jobs out there. So I left my job, took the money, started my business.
Well
Opportunity.
done. Well done. Well done. So, what you're saying is create an opportunity, even though you've been qualified for something else. But if that door is closed, create something or walk into something that might open up other doors. But you know what stops us is sometimes we are very egoistic.
Mm-hmm.
It's our pride. Oh, I don't want to do something else. I can relate to you because I was a banker, but I was fed up of banking because it was so strenuous. And yes, the money was good, everything was good. But you know what? In the year 2000, I laid my cards down and I said,
Mm.
no more banking for me. But I wanted to do something that would create, will interest me in my creativity. I was always a very creative person. And playing with numbers is not very creative. So it can be very mundane. But creativity is so important because that's something that's very close to my heart. So
Mm.
I said, no, let me do something that I don't even need to think about it. I started selling cosmetics, but it was
Opportunity.
fun. It
Mm.
was fun. It was fun because I didn't want to go back into the corporate at all. I started didn't know how to didn't know how to put colors together, but you know what, I learned, I loved it. But because of my love for colors and making someone look beautiful and all, I started writing my training programs, and I started
Mm.
selling it to corporates. So it was a good bridge, and it was a good money, and I was happy making people look beautiful. So there was an opportunity there knocking at my door, and I seized it.
Mm. Mm.
So, listeners, there's food for thought. Think about what you would love to do and seize that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Both of us reinvented ourselves. That's the word, reinvent.
Do you know what? I think one of the things that stops us maybe is also perspective. It's about what we are seeing. You know, you can either see a closed door, or you can see, you can see, I think we talked about this a few weeks ago, about the glass being half empty and half full,
That's right.
that scenario. So you might see somebody closing a door in front of you, and you think, oh no, that's an opportunity missed. Actually, it might just be that it is an opportunity for you to look at other options. I remember a few years ago, when I was still working in the bank, there was a job I applied for, and I went for the interview. I thought it was okay. I thought the interview went well. And I remember going back to the office, and I realized another one of my colleagues went for the same job. And it was with a different bank. The bank was literally across the river from us. Um, but I realized she went for it. And then I had her talking about how she got offered the job. And I was like, oh man, I went for the job and I didn't get offered the job. So she's got the job. And I had to intentionally congratulate her, because I was a bit like, that was my job. But I found it in me to say, congratulations, well done on securing the job. Um, and then a few months down the line, after she had left our company to go and start the new job, um, she got news that they were being made redundant, and she had not been in the job that long. And we all felt sorry for her, because she had been with the company for a long time, and then all of a sudden she left less than 6 months. The opportunity was closing, and she came back to beg for her job, and they
Wow.
couldn't give her the job at the same level she was at. It had to be at a lower level. Now, I could have been in the place where I was frustrated and angry, like I didn't get the job. But actually, sometimes a closed door is God's way of telling you that wasn't the path I wanted you to take. Or it's God just saving you from something. Because I would have been annoyed if I had gotten the job and 6 months down the line, I'm being told I'm being made redundant. That would not have sat well with me. So sometimes what we are seeing as a missed opportunity is actually just, it just means maybe not now, or not this one. Try the other door. Go and knock on the other door, because if there's like three doors in front of you and you have to choose one door, yes, you're just going to choose the door. If they open that door, it's most likely you're going to go through it. But if they shut the door, it allows you the opportunity to try the other doors. So that's just a little, I guess, analogy or illustration that you can use. That opportunities are around us. It's up to us to open our eyes to see these opportunities. And I think, like, even during lockdown, people started opening their eyes to opportunities. People started businesses that they never knew they could start. There was a young man making thousands of pounds because he was reselling stuff. So he set up a page, and people were ordering stuff from their homes, ordering on Amazon, ordering on this. So he was I think it's called drop shipping or whatever it's called. But he was selling stuff. He was selling stuff. And it wasn't that he had the physical stuff in his house. No. He was just the front man.
Mhm.
and he was making thousands of pounds, but he saw an opportunity and he jumped at it.
Mm. Yeah.
Let me just share a little story, Kiribai, if you allow me
Sure.
to,
Go
and
for it.
then I will hand over back to you because I'll just be quiet. But I read somewhere, so the Olympics just finished, and there's a lady, an amazing lady from America, who won gold in, I think it was cycling, and it was, I think, the road race. Now I can't verify how true this is, but I read it on social media, so I'm gonna go with it. But apparently, this young lady only started cycling less than 10 years ago.
Hmm.
She only learned to cycle less than 10 years ago. And it was just because she wanted to do some exercise, and she lived in New York, right? Near Times Square. Is it Times Square? That park. And she one day she learned to cycle, and then she would cycle every morning for 2 hours. She was in a job that she enjoyed, but at some point she started enjoying the cycling, and she started entering herself for competitions, and then she realized, hang on a minute, why don't I go cycling full time? And she quit her job, moved to a different city where she could do her cycling, where it was more palatable for her to do, it was a better environment for her to do her cycling. And now she's a gold medalist. If you asked her 10 years ago, would she ever win a gold medal in cycling representing her country, she probably would have said no. But she saw an opportunity and she jumped at it. And now she's a gold medalist. So the life that you desire is waiting for you. Don't miss the opportunities, seize the opportunities.
With that, I would like to add this point. Thank you for sharing that story. Cultivating a curiosity mindset, which in turn makes you an entrepreneur. Have an entrepreneurial mindset and
Mm,
curious, being curious about the opportunity and what you can turn the opportunity is always, sometimes your opportunity might not be what you're passionate about, but
mm,
yet it can bring a lot of profit, and you see that pot of gold at the end of the tunnel will make you actually turn into being passionate. So every opportunity that presents itself, be curious, dig deep and see whether you can seize an opportunity in it, because you might not be the person um, laying out the whole blueprint, but you can sell the idea to somebody and be the middle person and make some money.
mm-hmm,
Or you can be just a investor, invest some money, get someone else to run.
mm,
Just be the middle person. You might not be passionate about it, but you know what, you can still make money. And that's how these rich billionaires, they operate. They see opportunity, they put in some capital, let someone else run it, take the money, and then put it into something they're very passionate about, sell some shares. You know what, so many opportunities, so many opportunities. So for those who are out there who are thinking they've got some excess cash, see some opportunities and work in collaboration. That's why networking and finding the right fit where you can invest is very, very important.
mm,
And of course, lately I got to plug this in. There's this big billionaire's son got married in India. I don't know, Elizabeth, you saw it on social media. It was a wedding that's still not ended yet. It's like 6, 7, 8 months. It's from January. Functions after functions, gala dinners there, functions here, and it was totally networking. The whole function was networking. Someone's wedding, but it became a networking
networking
event.
event.
I'm sure it was, people like Bill Gates went for the visit. I'm sure this family didn't know Bill Gates. People
Mm,
like Kim Kardashian went for the wedding. For what? They don't even know, all dressed up in Indian of outfits, But you know what? They seized that opportunity. Their son's wedding. They seized that opportunity to bring all the world rich billionaires to have a time of networking, because you will never know what you're going to find there.
Mm, mm.
So I thought that was a very clever, conniving idea. I'm going to steal that idea. Maybe in future we might do something like that. Elizabeth?
Wait, who's getting married?
No, maybe not married, but getting see all the well-connected people in under one roof.
Mm.
All the well-connected people under one roof. We will throw a gala dinner, Elizabeth, in future.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Why not? No, it's really interesting, and it's just made me think about going back to, I guess, banking days or financial, talking about financial stuff where we talk about being like risk, like talking about your risk appetite.
Yeah, risk
And
management. Mm.
and you know what? Seizing opportunities can also be likened to what is your risk appetite like? Because sometimes an opportunity will seem scary, an opportunity will seem like, honestly, you look at it and you will think, how is this even possible? And I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of scams out there, so you need to watch out. You need to do your due diligence. I've fallen for some of these scams, so like, I know you need to do your due diligence and make sure that you're stepping up or you're raising your hand to the right opportunities. But 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 if we look all around us, there's opportunities. What is it that you want to do? What is it you're looking to do? There's an opportunity. It's funny because the way my head is wired nowadays, whenever I talk to somebody, especially when they like tell their story, at the back of my head, I'm thinking, oh my days, your story could make you money. That's the way my head is wired. And somebody is sitting there and they're looking for a financial opening, financial window to open for them. Or they're even looking for a job. But in my head, I'm like, yeah, but your story, like if you told your story, like this story could open so many doors for you, like it could draw people to you. That's the way my head is wired. I'm seeing opportunities as people are telling their stories. I'm seeing opportunities. And sometimes we see things as ordinary, yet there is an opportunity in what looks ordinary. So don't write off something because it looks ordinary. It looks like nothing special, but in it is an opportunity. So every so often on here, I mentioned the Show Up and Shine challenge, right? And one of the things that I like to talk about is visibility. What people don't realize is that visibility opens, like it opens your eyes to opportunities. Opportunities can come your way when you decide to be visible, because when you're visible, you're telling people who you are and what you're about. People can see, so people know, oh, if I want styling advice, I can come to Coach Kirubai. Oh, if I want, this kind of advice, I can go to this person, because you've become visible. So they're seeing you, they're seeing what you're about. So when the opportunity comes, like your name comes to mind. So there's opportunities out there. But if you are hiding and not being visible, you are going to miss out on the opportunity.
Mm.
So what are the opportunities you're missing as a result of hiding your talent, your gift? Now, let me bring the Bible into it, right? For the Christians who are watching, the parable of the talents. The parable of the talents. Three of these guys were given something. Opportunity. Opportunity. But the one who just did not want to do anything decided to just bury it and hide it. Funny enough, they all had the same master. But out of all the three of them, this guy said, my master is so shrewd, like he will not be happy if this is lost. Da, da, da. And so he hid it. He did not see an opportunity.
To invest, yeah.
But these other guys, they saw an opportunity to grow what was in their hands. There is something you have in your hands. There is a seed you have in your hands. Opportunity awaits you. But if you don't open your eyes to the fact that there is opportunity, you are not going to grow what you have. You're not going to grow the seed. That seed is not going to materialize into fruit. You're not going to see a harvest if you never step up to take the opportunities.
Thank you. Yes, the talents in your hand, the little seed. I'm going back to the point that you made about telling your story,
Mm,
and I would like to introduce our dear Tunji, who helps people put their story into a book.
mm.
That's Elizabeth's husband. He calls himself there's a name he calls himself.
Is there?
Yes, come on. It's something to do
Well,
with,
no, he calls his business accelerated author. Well, he's a book author coach.
yes, a book author coach. And he helps men and women put their story in paper,
Mm,
pen to paper, and he guides you strategically. So for those who want to tell the story through a book, a legacy that you want to leave, a book can go to places where you can't personally go. And Tunji, yes, that's the word. That's the word.
entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. And he helps you write the books. So please, if you want to put your story out, contact Elizabeth. She will, or contact
Absolutely.
directly. She'll put it to her husband Tunji, and he is an excellent coach, helping men and women put their stories out.
Mm.
Yeah. So we all have a story. And one of
Yeah.
the things opportunity creates is filling the gap,
Mm.
bridging the gap that's so needed. So, what is the gap that you are filling? We take the tube and he says, mind the gap, 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 mind the gap. So, mind what gap now?
Mm.
What gap do you want to fill? Is it in the area of hospitality, or food catering, or some service that you want to give? Cleaning, babysitting, so many needs. Dog walking is big money these days.
Mm-hmm.
Simple things. If you love your pet, you might also want to love other people's pet. And dog walking is big money these days. Babysitting, big money, big money. People pay 80 to 100 pounds a day.
Mm. Probably even an hour for some.
Yeah. For if you're an au pair, why not?
Mm.
House sitting is big money these days. Pet sitting. So there's so many things that we can do. You might think it's degrading, but it's a service to animals, people who need help with homes, and you know what? You're touching lives, and
Mm.
loving what you do. It's rewarding enough than getting stuck in an office. So there's always opportunities to create wealth. So being open-minded, I think what I'm trying to say is be open minded to what you are able to do. So I
Mm.
always tell Robert that if my business fails, I can always do some catering. I love cooking, so why not prepare a good
It's
meal?
easy.
Yeah, prepare a good meal and help someone live healthy lives. So
Mm.
there's always opportunities out there. Being open minded, so having a possibility, in having a mindset that is all things are possible, and that's very, very biblical. All
Mm.
things are possible. Nothing is impossible till you try.
Even when you try, it's not impossible.
Yeah. So, I mean, I last week I went to visit my cousin who just had a baby, a little baba, so cute. And you know what she said? I'm not going to allow my son to become a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer or an accountant. I'm going to train him to become a footballer because both parents love
Opportunity.
football.
Mm,
Both parents love football, and the baby is hardly 2 months, and she says, "I've already paved his career path. He's going to be a footballer."
wow.
Oh, and meeting another parent over the weekend. They're both, mother is a nurse and the father is a consultant. He said, "I think my son is going to be a famous chef." Oh, so even now, young parents, they are digressing from this professionalism. The professional jobs, those days where our parents said, "Oh, you got to be an accountant, you got to be an engineer, you got to be a doctor." We need all of them, but you know what? Careers have become so creative now.
That's it. And I think like what helps for any parent out there is create opportunities for your child.
Mm,
Create opportunities for your child because you never know what path they might decide to take.
mhm,
So, like, create the opportunities. There's something that we take Janaya for every so often, and it's to encourage girls into science and engineering. And sometimes it almost seems like a waste. Like why are we taking her? She's so young, and they go and they're doing like they're coding and designing an app for something, and I'm like, this girl's only 5. She doesn't spend that much time on tablets or iPhones or whatever. So like, what are we doing? But actually, the first time we went, they worked on something, produced something, and they gave a speech to present their idea. Like they did a presentation in front of a crowd of over 100. And I'm like, at 5 years old, she's already having to give a talk.
presentation.
So for me, it was an opportunity to develop in different ways. As much as, yes, the aim of the organization is, to encourage girls into science and engineering and to introduce them to it. But I was like, she's developing her communication skills.
Mhm.
They do teamwork every time they have a session. There's an opportunity to do teamwork and to present. And so you have to see opportunities beyond the surface level,
Mm,
because sometimes we see it on the surface and we write it off, but we don't know that there is something deeper. When I
mhm,
started my coaching business, I did not realize that actually, as a coach, I could also be a speaker. I
mhm,
could also, I could also do these many different things that I'm doing now. I could write articles. I could, I I didn't realize. For me, I started off and I was like, yeah, coaching business, that's it. But actually, when I started, my opportunities kind of just opened up. And I remember one time running a masterclass where I say that when we change our environment,
mm,
the opportunities change. Our eyes are opened to different opportunities. Sometimes you're in an environment and you do not see particular opportunities around you. But when you change environment, your eyes are open. It's almost like the Bible says the scales from your eyes are removed and you're able to see other opportunities. Sometimes that's all we need, a change of environment.
mm,
Go to a different city, go to a different country, whether it's even just for a week, just for a couple of days. Like, it opens up opportunities. I remember one time when we went, probably on our first proper holiday as a family, we went to Spain, and we went with my sister and my nephew as well. And by the time we came back, we were like, actually, we could go away every so often. Like, we started to see opportunities to actually go away on holidays. But before, we were just like, yeah, we're just like, the holiday you get is when you travel to your home country. That was, which is not necessarily a holiday, but that's the way we were seeing it. But then being able to go somewhere else opened our eyes, and we're like, this is possible. This is possible. This is possible. So like when you put yourself forward for opportunities, you start to see more possibilities.
Mm.
Like Kirubai was saying, what seemed impossible, you start to see as possible. So you need to open your eyes. And Coach Kirubai also mentioned about being open-minded. Like, don't be so rigid with your thinking and your way of doing life. Don't be so rigid. I'm not saying don't stick to your values, don't stick to your principles, but I'm saying don't be so rigid. Like, for example, I'm a Christian, so I have Christian values, Christian principles. So I will stick to that, but I will still open my mind to opportunities, which making sure that those opportunities do not go against my principles and my values, my identity, who I am, and the plans I believe God has for me. So you have to still know who you are, because if you don't know who you are, you can say yes to
Compromise.
the wrong
Yeah.
opportunity.
Mm.
You can compromise.
Mm.
Somebody can say, let me marry you and I will pay you so I can get papers. And you will say yes because it's an opportunity to get some money. But actually,
It's a
it's a lie.
grave mistake.
It's a lie. And that lie could come back to bite you.
Mm. You're talking about, we do. I mean, sometimes, like Elizabeth said, calculating your risk. Sometimes, yes, when opportunities open, you need to calculate your risk. But I think we all, as entrepreneurs, we because of the way we are wired,
Hmm.
we seize certain opportunities that might not be risk free, but being able to stand, being thinking with on our feet is very important, to cultivate the thought processes, immediately calculating whether this is feasible or this opportunity is not feasible. Be quick in our thinking, and that is something that we all need to develop, to
Mm.
seize opportunity.
One of my very real examples, which is actually happening right now, yeah, is just the opportunity to go and speak in America.
Mhm.
I could have like ignored it, but I saw a post on Facebook. The opportunity was staring me in the face. I could have said no, but I was like, no, it's time. It's time to say yes. Say yes to this opportunity. Because when I say yes to this opportunity, there is so much more that's opening up. And that's the reality. Opportunities will open up other doors and windows for you. So when you're saying no, 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 no to every opportunity that's coming your way, and it's niggling in my head, so I'm going to throw this in there. Um, to all the people who are looking for spouses, potential spouses, it's
Let's
just
plug
come up to
in.
my mind as I was speaking about the opportunity for America. This potential spouse situation just came into my mind. Like, I'm not saying don't have a standard, but I'm just gonna say, like, if you're saying no, 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 no to every single person that's coming your way, and you're going back to pray to God, God, bring this person, but God is bringing people, and you're like, what's the basis of the What's the basis of it? What's the basis of it? Don't just write off somebody because of their name, or because of the way their eyes are shaped, or what. I don't know, like, some people have some very, very interesting standards out there. Let's just be mindful, because there's a lot more that comes into making a marriage work. So just be mindful when you're closing every single door, because it happens to some people where, at a younger age, they had a lot of suitors coming their way and they say no to all these suitors. And then as they get older, they start becoming desperate. And they're like, oh, all those opportunities that came my way and I said no, I missed them. And then because of the desperacy, they
Yes.
end up making the wrong
Wrong
decision.
decision.
They make a decision based on I am desperate,
Hmm.
and it's the wrong decision. So let's be careful. Let's be careful. That's why it helps to have the right people around you, the right voices who can speak wisdom to you. It helps to, for me, I'm a person of faith. Kiruba is a person of faith. So being in close relationship with God, having a spirit of discernment, and being able to just not just judge from face value, because they say that what, when you're they say love is blind, right? So when you're in love, it's that you don't see the faults, you don't see the red flags, and then years later, when everything is gone pop 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 pop, it's breaking apart. You're like, actually, I saw these traits before we got married, but I ignored them.
Marriage can be risk management too.
It seriously can, and it trains you. It trains you.
Yeah, I mean, you were living here, Elizabeth. I had to leave everything in Malaysia and come, family, career, everything.
You took a big risk.
I took a big risk. Yes, I seized the opportunity. I took that big risk.
There you go.
Yeah, and I took the big risks and said, okay, I will say I do to this man who I hardly met personally, I mean, face to face for 2 months. I mean, we only met around 2 months, but all our conversations were on Skype, on the telephone, on emails and all. And I said, no, I had the peace in my heart to take the leap
Mm,
and say, okay, I accept your proposal and I moved to this country. But it was God, because we are women of faith. God guided me to make these decisions.
mm.
And today, if I didn't hear the right voice and seize that opportunity, I won't be here meeting. Met Elizabeth, met numerous number of people, and my life is now here. So
Absolutely.
sometimes you need to hear the right voice and seize the opportunity. Well,
There you go. There's a film out there, Carpe Diem, seize the day.
mm,
And it's I think there's a poem that goes with it. But it's so important for us to realize that everyday opportunities are presenting themselves.
mm,
We have opportunities to show kindness. We have opportunities to represent. We have opportunities to do various different things, but it's entirely up to us. But you don't know what one opportunity is going to bring your way. It's like this young lady who was doing was it the hammer or the javelin, or it was the shot put. It was the shot put, and she was doing it for I think her name is Nigerian. I think she's Nigerian descent, but she's doing it for Germany. She's representing Germany, and she won gold. She won gold, and during a press conference, like, she was asked a couple of questions, and in that press conference she starts singing. She's mentioned this song that was in her heart, and she starts singing, and trust me, the video of her singing has done its rounds. It has done
woo,
its rounds on social media. It has gone viral, and she has like such an amazing voice. I mean, even premier Christian radio was sending emails about it today. It had it in its email feed, about this amazing lady. Now she seized an opportunity. She seized an opportunity to
witness.
witness, to represent Christ with with her amazing gift, her voice. So you have a gift in your hand. You have a seed. What opportunities are you seizing, or what opportunities are you walking away from? You have an opportunity. And to anyone who's a person of faith, a Christian that's watching this, like, we have an opportunity to show the love of Christ every single day. I
Mhm.
mean, the Bible encourages us to do that. You have an opportunity every single day to show forth Christ. When people see you, they should see Christ in you, the hope of glory. So seize the opportunities to show love, to walk in, compassion, to bring hope, to speak a word that will bless somebody. Seize the opportunity. You don't have to always be very rigid and, oh, this is the way we do things, this is the only way forward, these are the only careers that I can do. This is Open your mind.
Well, Elizabeth, this is going to be my last comment. I'm going to seize this opportunity because you shared uh, this verse about Christ, the hope of Christ in me, the hope of glory. As you know, my mother had an accident last week, and it was a very bad accident. She had a very bad gash. She was bleeding profusely, and we had to take her in the ambulance to the A&E. So because of her age, they were very, very sensitive to it, and they came to attend to her. So one of the doctors said, "Auntie, you're looking very strong and all." And my mother, with that condition, with all the bleed, she said, "Christ in me, a hope of glory." It was actually a Muslim guy, a Muslim
Wow.
doctor. And after everything was done, and she was ready to go back, and he just said, "Auntie, could you pray for me that I will get a good posting?"
There you go.
In that condition, she sees that opportunity.
Well done, Mom.
Yeah, well done. And mom said, "Okay, I'll go back home and I will pray that you get a good posting."
Wow.
So it was amazing now, and thank God, she's good now. And with that, you know, every minute counts to seize the
Mm.
opportunity to share the love of Jesus. Like how we are doing. We are seizing this opportunity to empower someone else.
That's it. That's it. And some opportunities don't come back again. Like,
Mm,
yes, they'll say, some of them that will come back in the cycle, but just be conscious of, don't be so limited in your thinking, in your mindset, that you miss out on things that could open a door for you. And
amen.
I think this is particularly to somebody who's out there who is probably looking for a job. You're looking for a job and you're struggling. Start opening your eyes to the possibilities that are around you. Start asking yourself, what can I do with my hands? What skills do I have? And start positioning yourself. The thing that you want, you can get it. It might just be that maybe it's not for now, it might be for later, and you have to build, you have to lay the foundation now, because if you get it now, you might ruin it. Because that's the other thing as well. Sometimes we think it's for now, but God is not going to bring things our way that we are going to destroy. He loves us too much. So there might be things that you were praying for, waiting on God for, and you're wondering, but God, why are you taking forever? Why is there a delay? And there might be an opportunity that God has brought your way, and it might be an opportunity for you to show selfless love, an opportunity for you to show some kindness. I remember, I think I've shared it on here. One day I did something very, very scary, very risky, but I saw it as an opportunity to show the love of Christ. I picked up a gentleman on the roadside. It was very risky. It was about 7 p.m. on the motorway. I was just literally getting onto the motorway, coming from Newport heading to Bristol. And this gentleman was he was what's it called, hitchhiking.
Mm,
And
Elizabeth.
it was very scary. It was scary, but I did it because I had a conviction to do it. I did it because I had the leading to do it. And every minute and every second I was driving, there were so many thoughts that were going through my mind. Some very, very crazy thoughts. But it was one of those things that God has called us not just to show love the normal way, but to show reckless love, to show a love that leaves the 99 and goes after the one.
Mhm.
And it was one of those moments to show the love of Christ in a way that goes beyond. And I did it, and Kirubai, I took it a step further. And this guy, by the time he told me his story, it was about a half an hour, 20 minutes to half an hour drive. And so we got into conversation, and he told me his story. I want to believe that it was the truth and not a lie. um but I was then able to, he needed somewhere to spend the night. He was trying to get to Dover, bearing in
Mm.
mind he was in Newport. That's Wales. So he still had a way to go. And I did it because I had the conviction to do it. So don't just go and try this. I did it because I had the conviction to do it. And so gave him a ride. By the time I was getting home, in my head, I'm thinking, I'm just going to drop this guy. And then where's he going to go? What next for him? He wants to get to Dover. And it was late in the night. Um, I was at home with my mum at the time. So I told the guy, wait in my car. I went and spoke to my mum. And I told my mum the situation. And my mum agreed for him to come and spend the night in the spare room.
Wow.
Another risk that we took. But it was see, this is where God goes ahead of you.
Mm.
And because my mom could have said, no, you cannot do that. But mom was okay. And one of the that night I went to bed. In my head, I was thinking, Liz, you could wake up and the house is empty. You could wake up and so much has happened. Like, this guy could have been, he could have told you so many lies, and but the scripture that came to mind as I went to bed that night was the scripture, the Bible verse that talks about entertaining angels.
Mm.
And it talks about, when I was hungry, you gave me to eat. When I was thirsty, when I was in prison, you came to see me. That's the scripture I had going to sleep. So I had peace. As much as there were still thoughts of, he might do this, he might do that. And then in the morning, we bought him a ticket. And the ticket was, it was a coach ticket just to get to London. I said, this is what I'm going to, I'll give you as far as London. So on my way to church, I dropped him at the coach station, and I went to church. And I was just like, God, I don't know why you had me do that, but it is done. We are safe. We've not lost anything, but at least this guy can be one step closer to where he's trying to get to. It was an opportunity to show the love of Christ, an opportunity to do a kind act.
Mm.
Every day, opportunities present themselves. There's opportunities for you to do what the world calls pay it forward. Pay a meal. There's restaurants that will allow you to pay a meal for somebody that might not have, someone that might be in a worse of situation. There's opportunities for you to mentor a young person. There's opportunities for you to open a door, get an apprentice, train them up in a skill. There's opportunity for you to pray for somebody, to pray with somebody. There's opportunity for you to do so much, to add value to the world around you, to impact the world around you. Don't close your eyes to those opportunities. Don't just be focused on your own issues and just say, all I'm worried, all I'm concerned about is just my life, and that's it.
Mm.
We are a community. We do life in community. You don't do life in isolation. That's not life. Every day we have an opportunity. There's someone out there that might be thinking of taking their lives. But maybe a phone call from you can change the trajectory of their lives, can change their story. So don't ignore opportunities. Embrace them, seize them, run with them. Look at what's in your hands. Do something with it. And I'm going to keep quiet because I think the preacher in me is coming out.
You can't stop that. Yeah, I think we call it a day today, Elizabeth. We have
Yes, we will.
seized the moment. We have spoken, and I pray that it will touch someone's life.
Amen.
And see you next week.
Absolutely. See you all. Thank you for joining us. And if you watch this on replay, please put some comments. We would love to engage with you. And if we've touched on any subject that has hit a spot for you and you'd like to have a deeper conversation, please feel free to reach out to us. Please feel free to just get in touch with us, either via our social media handles, or just honestly, just reach out to us. reach out to us. It's an opportunity that you shouldn't ignore. It's an opportunity you shouldn't ignore. But God bless you, and we will catch you again same time next week.